Good afternoon, everyone. Communities across the valley are honoring fallen soldiers on this Memorial Day holiday. This is the ceremony at Riverside Cemetery in Fargo this morning, where people gathered to honor America's military members who lost their lives fighting for our country. Army, Navy, Air Force, and the Marine Corps offered their tribute to members of the armed forces who have gone before. Red, white, and blue wreaths were placed at the cross at the head of the graves. The flowers represent remembrance, purity, and loyalty. And tonight on Valley News Live at 5, hear from local retired military officials on the importance of Memorial Day and why they say it isn't just a day for barbecues and picnics. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was joined by U.S. Senators Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith for a wreath-laying ceremony at Fort Snelling National Cemetery this morning. The Memorial Day tradition to honor Minnesotans who died serving their country resumed after a one-year hiatus due to the pandemic. 1,000 volunteers placed flags near the headstones yesterday. The National Cemetery is now a sea of red, white, and blue. The flags are expected to be up for a few weeks. Some of this year's Memorial Day events include remembrances of those who died from COVID-19. Bradley Blackburn has this story from New York.
President Biden marked Memorial Day solemnly laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. Afterward, he talked about the sacrifice so many have made to defend our country.
We owe the honored dead a debt we can never fully repay. We owe them our whole souls. We owe them our full best efforts to perfect the Union.
The president urged Americans not to let the fallen heroes' deaths be in vain.
Democracy itself is in peril, here at home and around the world.
And he called on Americans to remember what unites us.
Empathy is the fuel of democracy. Our willingness to see each other, not as enemies, as neighbors, even when we disagree, to understand.
Here in New York, veterans are gathering to reflect and remember together in person, something they could not do last year.
I'm thinking just really of the guys that came before me and after me who are not here today.
Intrepid veterans say they lost 150 crew members in the last year. Many of them died from COVID-19, but those here have a hopeful message.
Yes, it's a memorial, and yes, we think about those who have passed, but at the same time, we've got to say, if we can work together, we can beat most anything.
Pandemic precautions remained in place this year with a smaller guest list and social distancing at the ceremony. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
President Biden visited a grave site in Arlington National Cemetery after his speech and spoke with family there. Now here's Summer with a first look at your forecast. Summer?
Good evening, everyone. On this Memorial Day, at least temperatures were able to cooperate for many of us across the valley. Lots of sunshine and peak temperatures so far. Lots of upper 60s and lower 70s. Here's a look at our Devil's Lake Home of Economy sky cam. Just a few wispy clouds out in the sky, but lots of blue as well. Current conditions across the valley, 68, one of the cooler spots in Bemidji, thanks to just a few fair weather cumulus clouds developing, but many of us seeing plenty of sunshine and those temperatures fairly close to the 70-degree mark. Can see many of us enjoying the sun, and here are those fair weather cumulus that have developed through portions of north central Minnesota through around Bemidji down towards Brainerd. In Fargo tonight, sunset is going to be at 9:14 p.m. Temperatures in the 70s for a few more hours if you still want to spend some outside time, and then falling into the 50s by daybreak. Very similar trend in Grand Forks as well. Sunset at 9:19. Coming up, I'll have your forecast for tomorrow and a major warm-up on the way.
All right, thanks so much, Summer. A man is dead and a woman seriously injured after their ATV rolled over this morning near FOSSTON. The Polk County Sheriff's Office responded to the scene along 345th Avenue Southeast, just north of FOSSTON. The ATV was heading north when it hit a ditch and flipped. The driver, 75-year-old Edward Halverson, was pronounced dead at the scene. 71-year-old Judith Halverson was airlifted to a hospital in Fargo. The Sheriff's Office says the incident is still under investigation. A former Otter Tail County deputy has been sentenced to nearly a year of house arrest for a law enforcement sting last year that ended in a fatal crash. Kelly BACKMAN will be placed on supervised probation for 2 years afterwards and will also have to pay a $1,000 fine. He was originally charged with 4th-degree DWI, but that charge was dropped following a plea deal. BACKMAN refused to provide a blood sample after the crash, but a later test indicated he had fentanyl in his system. A Minnesota man will spend 5 years in prison in connection to a shooting in Dilworth. Police responded to the 200 block of 5th Street Northwest on November 12th at around 7 a.m. They found 37-year-old Christopher Lucier in a stairwell with a gunshot wound to his leg. Police say the shooting appeared to have happened after an argument broke out with 38-year-old Dennis Hackley. The incident sent a nearby school into lockdown. Hackley was originally charged with 3 counts of assault and illegal possession of a firearm, but the assault charges were dismissed. He'll spend the next 5 years in jail with credit for time served. A man is dead and another is facing charges after a crash between a minivan and a sprayer this morning. The North Dakota Highway Patrol says the sprayer was driving north on Highway 1806 when it was rear-ended by a Dodge Caravan. The crash happened around 7:30 this morning, about 3 miles south of Huff, North Dakota. Both vehicles spun out into the ditch. The 71-year-old driver of the sprayer was thrown and died at the scene. The driver of the van, 89-year-old Robert Stanley of Mandan, was taken to a hospital. Charges are pending. New developments in that incident that sent a middle school into lockdown last week. Police say the 15-year-old boy accused of bringing a gun to a Williston middle school has been arrested and charged. Officers responded to the call around 1:17 last Wednesday and confirmed they found a gun in a student's backpack. Williston Middle School and nearby BACKMAN Elementary were put into lockdown for about 2 hours. Police say they're still investigating. A man drowned after jumping out of a boat to save his girlfriend at a lake in southern Minnesota this weekend. The two were boating on Crystal Lake, that's just south of Burnsville. 36-year-old Matthew Brust jumped in to help his girlfriend, who was able to climb back into the boat, which then drifted away before Brust went underwater. The Dakota County Sheriff's Office says they recovered his body about 11:30 p.m. on Saturday. They usually work together, but this week Fargo Police and Fire are going head-to-head for a good cause. Over the next 2 days, Fargo Fire and Police are competing to see who can get the most blood donations for the American Red Cross. Each donation can save up to 3 lives. The blood helps accident and burn victims, organ transplants, and cancer patients. 38% of people are eligible to donate blood, but less than 10% do.
Most people say they've never donated because they've never been asked. And, they just they never think about it, and a lot of people donate because, like me, I really wanted to donate because, in memory of my father.
All blood donors get a Red Cross t-shirt and will be asked to vote for either Fargo Police or Fire. If you pick Police, you'll get a coupon for Sandy's Donuts. And if you pick Fargo Fire, you'll get 6 free wings from Buffalo Wild Wings. The Battle of the Badges will take place tomorrow and Wednesday from 1 to 7 p.m. It's at the American Red Cross on 12th Street in North Fargo. To make an appointment, go to redcrossblood.org or download the Red Cross Blood Donor app. Up next, space at area campgrounds is going fast. We have tips if you want to secure a spot this summer.
And the weather continues to cooperate for this Memorial Day evening. I know many folks out there grilling, and we'll continue to see temperatures in the 70s here in Fargo for the next few hours. But stick around. We're talking about a big warm-up as we head into the middle of the week.